Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of HTML5 course. And in this episode we are not actually going to continue alphabetically with the elements or the elements names. Instead, I figured out that it would be better if I made some examples from many different elements, and that's going to give you more info and be a lot more useful than going through every single element and their attribute by alphabetics. So yeah, let's get started. I'm gonna add an HR tag. As you guys can see, there's a line now underneath our lesson number 2, and then I'm gonna make an H2 element and say a lesson number 3. I'm just gonna write 3 in as a number, and yeah, so in this episode we are gonna kind of continue alphabetically, but at the same time we can't. So yeah, there was a huge error in my planning. Anyways, that's why I changed my plans. So today we're gonna go over the area tag. It's a self-closing tag, which means it's a void element, and that means it doesn't need a closing tag like this. This is not needed, so we can just delete it. Okay, and now I'm gonna paste a photograph into this folder that I have copied. So I can't do it here, I'm gonna do it in my file explorer. There we go, and it's actually in HTML instead of being in a PNG. Let's delete. Okay, there we go, I finally got the image here. It's gonna be an image of a computer, phone, and a mug. So basically what I'm going to do is use the area tag, and with that we can use the map element, image element, and yeah, those are going to be the new attributes. I'm sorry, not attributes but elements that we're gonna learn in this episode. So yeah, the area is gonna be a sub element. This all is gonna start with map. And by the way, shout out to w3schools.com for providing this picture and also making it the coordinates, because I didn't feel like creating my own coordinates for some kind of picture, but I'm gonna teach you the idea of this. So we gotta go, let's go to the top of our lesson number 3 right over here. Wait a moment, I'm gonna refresh. I'm gonna delete that map, and here we go. So we gotta add a img or image. So we got this image right here. Let's add that. So we are gonna make an img tag, and once again that's a self-closing tag. It doesn't need a closing tag like the H2 element does. And we're gonna set an href over here, or source. src means source, and we're gonna set it to workplace.jpg, and we are gonna set it to workplace.jpg. So here we go, and it needs to be exactly as right over here. For example, here I made a spelling mistake, and now it appears on the web page, as you guys can see. Alright, that's a pretty good sized picture. And then we can also add an alternative over here. Alt means alternative, and if the image fails to load for any reason or another, we can use this attribute. and this is also used for screen readers and stuff like that. So this is, I'm gonna name this alternative text, a computer, phone, and a cup of coffee. Alright, there we go. And then let's continue on. I'm gonna add use map equals hashtag work map. So the use map attribute is the partial URL starting with a hashtag of an image map associated with the element. So we are going to be making a map element and then an area element inside of that. And then also I'm gonna add width to be equal to 400, height to be equal to 380. There we go. That's all the attributes we're gonna need. And right now I am gonna go underneath our lesson number 2. Actually, I'm gonna cut these 2 lines and put them over here so this text will stay on top. And now I am gonna go ahead and also I'm gonna add a style element. Style equals let's say margin dash left, so it will add outside space to the element to the left side, which means it will move to the right side. Let me show you. Let's say 50 pixels. As you guys can see, the photo moved. You can see the change. Okay, let's set this to 150, 140, 130, 120. 120 is good. So using margin left instead of margin, by the way, this is CSS code. Using margin left instead of margin, we can add margin to only one side. If we used margin like this, like let's say 30 pixels, that is going to add margin to all around this image. But I only want it on the left side. So margin dash left colon 120 pixels. There we go. Okay. And now we gotta go ahead and create the map. It's already suggesting it for us. So the map is gonna use the same. It's gonna use this use map attribute. So we named our work map hashtag work map. So the name attribute is gonna be work map. And this element, the map element, needs a closing tag. Alright. And inside here, we're gonna make some area elements. Area elements are self-closing tags, which usually have some or a lot of different attributes. But before we go ahead onto this part, I want to show you one thing. I'm gonna make a new folder onto my HTML course, and I'm gonna name this images. Alright, there we go. And I'm gonna move workplace.jpg over there. And now it's no more showing on the page. Instead, we get the alternative text, a computer, phone, and a cup of coffee. So, how can I fix this? Well, we gotta go to the images folder because this is located right over there. So, our index file is here, and the images file is next to it. So all we gotta do is add images slash and workplace.jpg. VS Code will help a little bit with this. So there we go. We got the image back, and now it's inside a folder and it makes our code look more clean. Alright, now let's go inside of the map attribute or the map element. I keep messing up attributes and elements, but yeah, these are attributes, these are elements. Alright, let's add an area. area, and we don't need a closing tag, only an open tag, and let's make the shape equal to rect, and that's gonna be corresponding to rectangle. Let's make the chords, which is coordinates, and now the coordinates tracking can be kind of hard, but there are tools online to do that. Thank you for w3schools.com. I have the coordinates over here already. So I'm gonna add them right over here, and then alt, as in alternative, I'm gonna say computer, and href is gonna be computer.html. So it will take us to a whole nother file. Now, as you guys can see inside of our web page, if we hover over the computer, our mouse is gonna turn into a cursor or pointer icon, and we can click this. Now, the problem is that computer.html, that does not exist yet. Now we can click on the computer.html, but the problem is that computer.html file doesn't exist yet. Now we can either create it right next over here or into a separate folder. I'm gonna name this folder extra HTML, and now I'm gonna make here, I mean go to the href attribute, and I am going to add the. So now that I have the folder created, I'm gonna go to my href attribute. Href means the location. So I'm gonna add extra HTML /, and then we gotta make a folder inside of here, and that's gonna be called computer.html. Let's use a exclamation mark and press tab to just quickly generate the necessary HTML code, and let's just add an h1 element that says computer. Then we will make phone.html, and we will also need a coffee.html. Let's add these, and once again exclamation mark and tab, and let's add here phone, and then here h1 element coffee. And yeah, let's get back to the index file. By the way, I haven't told you guys what the index file means. The index file is usually the front page of a web page. So that's where everything begins. Everything is linked over here, all the main styles and stuff. So yeah, that's usually the starting point for a web page. Anyways, let's add our other area elements. So here we go. Area shape is once again going to be a rectangle. This time we are going to target the phone in the picture right over there. And we got the coordinates. It's actually suggesting them to me already. Okay, the alternative text is going to be phone, and href, the location, is going to be extra HTML and / phone.html. There we go. And then one more area item so we can target the coffee. This time the shape is not going to be a rectangle, it's going to be a circle. Then the coordinates, they are going to be, there's only 3 sets of coordinates this time, because it's, well, a circle. It will form a triangle in the coordinational system, but that will not really matter. So yeah, that will be clickable real soon. Then alternative cup of coffee, and the href, the location where this will take us, is gonna be extra HTML and coffee.html. Alright, let's add a closing, this one, not element, but a closing greater than character. And yeah, this is pretty much it. So the reason I intended to go from alphabetical order to an order that I see best fit is because, for example, I wanted to go through the area element, but I can't go through the area element without going through the map and the image elements. So that's the reason why I changed the course of this playlist, or a teaching course, a little bit. But we are still going to go over every single element with every single attribute, and you will learn a lot and stuff. So yeah, anyways, now let's save, and now we can click on these three items. Let's click the computer. It will take me actually over here. Oh, I didn't add a computer.html over here. There we go. Now it should work. Alright, so let's click the computer. And now it says computer. Alright, and it's this file right here. The only element we added inside of the page, which equals the body element, is a h1 heading element that says computer. Now let's go ahead and let's click the phone. Now it's gonna say phone. And let's do the same for this cup of coffee. Now it's gonna say coffee. So it's gonna take us to different HTML files depending on which part of the image we click. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the area, map, and image elements in HTML. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.